This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Oh, very good.
All right, there we go. Red dot means we're recording. We're going to call to order.
Okay,
it is now 7:09 p.m. on July 7th, 2022. This is the Garden Committee meeting. I'm Eric Sioka, sitting in lieu of Stephen Linsky. I'm going to take minutes also while we're going. Hopefully I'll get a good enough copy. So first thing on the agenda, public comment. Ask members of the public to list their grievances or suggestions. Don't see anybody here.
No.
So we'll keep that running in parallel. We'll jump back if anybody does appear. We'll move on to the next thing. Don't know if I have enough copies. Next thing is acceptance of minutes. One was sent out in the email. There's a printed copy if anybody needs to go over them. Let's see, this is 22 minutes. Let's go over it. Maybe complete, maybe incomplete, because there was, people had sent things in an email last month, so there may be parts of it that did not make it into the printout that I did. That's the agenda. Yeah. We'll reference everybody back to the online copy. If you have any doubts about have doubts about whether or not that's an accurate reflection of what happened. Actually, I think last month we didn't record, so we don't have the video recording either. So,
Oh, wasn't it?
no, because
we thought it was, but it wasn't.
Oh, we thought it was.
red means go when you're recording. We
Oh,
thought
it
green
wasn't.
means go.
Oh,
Green means stop.
gross.
And now we know.
And I wasn't here, so I can't attest to it.
All right, so can we do a vote to accept? All those in favor say, oh, sorry. Yeah, first, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded, all right, all in favor say yay.
Yeah.
All right, any opposed? All right. Passed unanimously. All right, so next up, we're gonna jump to Frank, so that we can get Frank's stuff done. Operations report.
Okay, so first of all, a huge thanks to all the people who came out and dealt with the thistle, because the plot is now completely put to sleep. Maybe. And it looks like a lot of Karen's plot, the C2 has gotten cleaned up too, so she emailed me the other day. She wants to learn how to use the mower. I'm gonna, just because I've been in and out of town for various family things, I would have done a weed inspection by now, so I will do a weed inspection, and then I'll have Marge send an announcement out. I'll do one Sunday, late in the day. That'll give people a chance to go up to the gardens and just kind of do some weeding. Most everything looks pretty good, really, right now. It's not too bad. There's one plot, I think it's C12, that I don't know if anyone's taken it. It's completely overgrown, so we're probably going to need to get a work party to work on that one.
Which one's that, C12?
C12, yeah.
Wasn't there someone
I thought somebody took it.
C12.
Last month? Wasn't there
for Margie's
somebody
part,
who was
C12 is still available. Somebody was going to take it, but they dropped out.
But they,
Okay.
yeah,
All
okay,
right.
so we'll probably want to deal with that. I may, because I'm going to mow this weekend, so I'll walk it. If there's nothing there like rocks or anything, I may just go ahead and mow it. just to knock it all down before it starts going to seed. I still think I think there's one more. I got a couple other hose heads that have gone bad that I need to replace. I'll do that probably by this weekend because I'm leaving town again next Wednesday. I'll get the stuff for the weed trimmer, but I gotta say, man, I am not a weed whacker expert. So I think I may have to.
We have one though.
We
on
do
board.
Ben, right?
David.
David.
Yeah. Should be. Alan, maybe I've learned it.
Okay.
But yeah, if you could get the replacement on the
Yep,
string on.
I'll get the spools and stuff,
Yeah.
and then we'll make him the official weed
What was
trimmer
the name of
man.
that? What name did you say? David? Ben?
David. And I forget he's got 2 last names, but they escape me.
I'll figure it out. And I'm going to try and do this before I leave town, is because I know there were some people interested in mowing, so I want to offer to meet people up there to learn how to use the mower. It's not too complicated, really. It looks intimidating, but it kind of does the work for you. It's a cool mower. So yeah. And that's about it. I don't have a whole lot. I mainly want to get a weed inspection done just so people can jump on it now. It's early in July. If stuff's starting to get a little on the edge, it's a good time to just knock it down. But I've been kind of impressed so far with the plots. They're all pretty much under control. Last year we had a number of abandoned plots by now. It doesn't look bad up there at all.
Frank, with regard to operations and equipment, I'm
Yeah.
thinking maybe at the end of the season would be a good time to do an inventory of equipment, and especially those pieces of broken equipment that are sitting around in the shed. And there's like,
Yep.
you know, hose and rakes that are falling apart, and I just think we should, if we can't, the same thing
If
with
we can't
hoses.
fix it, we'll toss it.
Same thing with hoses. I mean, I tried like 2 different hoses
Yep.
to attach to that spigot that's right near the water box.
On the water, yeah.
And they leaked. They're just, leaking like crazy.
Okay.
So I think we can throw away certain stuff and then, decide if we have enough of everything.
Okay.
I went ahead and bought a rake because we only had one rake that looked functional.
Like a hard rake, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
They all go. It's a mystery.
Oh, do you think they disappeared?
Well, a lot of the heads just came off, too.
Oh. Yeah, because we had like a half dozen of them. I went to go grab one. Wait,
There's
it was-
That's what
one
I
that
thought.
and then one
I
with really tiny tines. That's like
Yep.
I took one home right before I had to leave town, so because I was going to Gorilla Glue it and screw it, so I'll get that done.
Yeah, or pitch
But
them.
we're- And it's fine. It's there's nothing wrong with it really. Other
Yeah.
than it just comes out. They just do that. Some of the
Okay.
cheaper ones. A lot of those were donated anyway. So,
Right.
but yeah, no, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Just clean up things.
Frank, who donates? Who
Oh, just
donates
people
equipment?
have just over the years. They'll just bring in
Oh, some people from the garden.
from the garden.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
They didn't need them at home anymore because they had to go to
Mhm.
the garden, community gardens.
I see.
So yeah, that's all I have. Nobody has any other questions.
go enjoy some wine.
Yeah, I wanted one quick thing. Who's got the petty cash? Do you have the petty cash?
I have some petty cash, and Stephen has some
Stephen
petty
does?
cash, but he doesn't have, he's got about, what, $54 or something.
Okay, because I have 2 gas receipts here. Would I leave them with you?
You can leave them with me. I
Okay.
can,
And I'll just put my name at the bottom, just so, and then at some point I can get the cash.
I didn't bring the bullion for the gas.
I know, I used to just do it as kind of an in-kind donation, but these days, man,
Especially for gas, yeah.
yeah, no.
Did you notice it's going down a little?
It is going down a
50
little. Oh no, I
cents.
can tell you, I drove all the way to Mississippi twice in the last 3 weeks, and I can tell you all the cheap states. Tennessee is not one of them.
Really?
Nope, because they don't have personal income tax, so they have to get their money some other way. hotel taxes are higher there too. Alabama and I think Pennsylvania were the cheapest. Virginia was expensive. New Jersey was obviously expensive.
I just went to Pennsylvania and we were cheaper than where
Oh,
I
yeah?
was in Pennsylvania.
Maybe I'm
Yeah.
mixing up the states because I got,
Yeah.
there's a lot of states you go through.
State tax, local tax, I guess.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
I will. I'll see you at the garden, and I'll be up there quite a bit because I got to get things tucked away.
Good
My son's
anniversary and a good trip.
Yeah, my son's
Yeah.
staying around. He's not going to Brazil, so he'll be taking care of stuff. Maybe I can get him a malt ticket. All right, it's really good seeing y'all.
Thank you. Good trip.
Yeah, we'll segue to the next section, to the treasurer's report
Okay,
and
I'm
endorsement of
sorry,
purchase
I
orders.
guess I'll have to print my own.
I think that we've got enough
Great.
copies now between all of
I
us.
don't think there were any copies.
I printed one that was sent out.
Did you print one?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Okay,
This one?
Is it the same one? Hopefully it's
That
the
what
one
you
that's up
have?
to date.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
okay.
it. I have one.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Me too.
Oh, you did, okay. Yeah, we're doing fine. People are turning in receipts, and bills are getting paid. I really don't have anything else to bring up. I'll take care of Frank with the petty cash. But I think we're in good shape, and we just would have to take a look at, I think we have enough in any of the accounts. If a couple of new hoses have to be purchased, I don't think Frank's going to get that at Fleury's. Probably Overshaw or Easthampton feed, so I think we're okay with that. At some point, we will probably have to put some money into the Fleury's. In fact, if people want to, I can put in to get another couple $100 in there, because that's where he takes care of all the equipment and gets things tuned up.
That's where we bought the weed whip, and that's, I'm sure, where he would go to get the cord replaced.
Okay. So then I'll move that we increase the amount for Fleury's purchase order by $200.
Question, Ted, does that
Yes.
come from unallocated funds? That money
Yes.
would kind of move from that down into?
Yeah,
Okay.
that just moves.
Unallocated just means we haven't assigned it to anything.
It hasn't been assigned to anything. All these others are, in a sense, open purchase orders
Right.
that the city will handle as we turn in receipts. They have to submit it, I have to sign the paperwork, and then they submit it to get paid to Overshot and so forth. It's,
So the amounts and beginning balance is the amount that we had voted previously to be allocated for that particular account? Like there's $345.23 for Overshots, or is that how much we've spent?
no, that's our balance
That's how much?
before the $79
Okay,
bill had to be
that's what I
paid.
thought.
So the ending balance, what we currently have
Yeah.
in that purchase order is
Okay.
265.42.
All right, so the 345 was what we had voted originally, that we would allow to have that amount there.
Oh no, this
Where did that come from?
this has been going for a while. I don't know if I have that with me. Let me just see. Let's see. We have an Overshine. You can see this is this is what the city fills out as they get bills and receipts. Then they will put this in. I have to come down and sign and authorize it, and then the city pays it. This is our portion. I mean, the Obashan bill to the city is larger than this.
So
This is our portion of it.
So the column that says beginning balance, where are those figures from?
Okay.
Unallocated, I can kind of guess, but the others.
I'll just show you how they,
So would that be from the last time something was taken out of it, obviously?
this, they set up, for the Obashan, they set up a purchase order, an open purchase order on May 10th, 2000, or, yeah, 2000, well, it says 21, okay.
Last year.
2021 for $200.
Okay. Okay.
And then they added to that $500, and you can see she just keeps a running balance.
Okay, this is from the city, these figures.
This is what the city does, and Barbara keeps track, and she keeps a running balance as she pays an amount out,
Yeah.
so that she knows exactly.
Well, and you know, this is the changeover because we had a different treasurer. We've had different treasurers, and you may be doing it a little bit differently. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around, you know, how the system works. Historically, we used to vote at the beginning of the year. We would allocate this much money for a particular account without any specifics. You know, if we thought, well, we'll probably order maybe $200 from Obashan, so we put that in the budget. That's how, you know, it was kind of like a budget. And then we would draw down on that as the year went on. But you may be doing it differently. I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
The way that she does it, she keeps a running balance, and basically, she, as we ask her to add to it, you can see where additional amounts have been added to the Obashan. And then,
So we don't have an allocated amount at this point? We're not working in that system anymore?
it's not necessarily a budgeted thing.
Okay?
Okay,
That's, I think that's what you mean, is a budget?
Well, yeah, it's
for
just,
that?
I'm referring to the previous treasurers, at least two, and that was the format that they did it. We would do it at the beginning of the year. We would vote on each account, and you'd say, okay, it looks like for Bear Path, we're gonna need this much for compost, so we'd put in, you know, $300 or something like that. And if you didn't spend the whole 300, well, that was okay. But the city always wanted us to let them know what the maximum expenditure would be. And we couldn't go over that unless we reallocated some more.
Yeah, well, basically what I've done is, rather than open up new purchase orders at the beginning of the year to change the numbers,
Okay,
just let them keep these rolling
okay,
as we, and on a monthly basis, as we see what we have in the account. If we think we're going to need some more,
okay.
that we can always ask to the city to increase it. And what she'll do is she'll put in an increase of the purchase order, and then it will show up at the bottom here.
Okay,
What I want to do is, for any open purchase order, I get this whenever whenever we've had bills paid.
yeah,
I don't put anything in the report until the bill is paid.
okay,
And I want my figure on the report to be exactly what Barbara has for the city.
sure.
And what's left on our account. And rather than to reallocate at the beginning of the year, if at any time, it doesn't have to be at the beginning of the year, if at any time we think we need to have more money available in that account, we can increase it.
So this moment in time, we could spend, hypothetically, in the Obashan hardware account, 300, and we could spend, $265 is left.
Yes.
We could spend up to that without appropriating more for that account from unallocated
Correct,
funds.
yeah. If we knew we were going to have a big expenditure,
Yeah,
we knew we were going to have that with Fleury. I think we increased it by
yeah.
a couple of $100 so
So
that
you
we
could
would,
allocate it in advance of that.
so that we would allocate it in advance if we
Yeah.
knew something. As we see now, Fleury's down to $135. Probably a good idea to up that from the unallocated funds.
Realizing that we may or may not spend that amount, but at least it's there. If we
Right
need it.
away, but this basically is just a continuing, it's a carryover from
Previous years?
from the previous years. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
okay.
just we had talked about I think, what is it, the mulch people, about maybe doing away with that account, the Bear Path compost.
Yeah, they're not the most
And
inexpensive.
Steven suggested that don't close it. If there's ever a time when we need it, we can add money to it.
Sure.
But the process is longer if you try to open up a new vendor.
That makes sense. Yeah, okay.
So we'll just keep that open. It's got $65 in it.
If we decide to spend it.
Will that $65 just keep wrapping, or is there like a yearly fall off for it
No.
or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
As far as I know,
It's
these are just,
Yeah, they're kind of funny money. It's like, we could
They
spend
just
this if
keep-
we want to, but we don't have to.
it's a rolling.
Yeah, it's just kind of like an
Kind of
expense, projected expenses without any commitment. Okay.
So do we need to do an approval second and everything for that? Or do you just?
Well,
you just do it?
I would like to recommend that we increase the Fleury purchase order amount by $200.
Second the motion. That's a move. You're making a motion.
All right. All those in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? All right. Passes unanimously.
And any other questions? As I say, I'm just sort of following from the way they seem to work and have worked with the city.
Yeah. It's a lot less stressful than having like yearly things where you have to try to pre-plan and then you lose the money at a certain point and rolling. Just seems a lot more sensible.
So I'll ask one more question.
Sure.
I serve as treasurer on 2 different boards, so I'm always asking questions. The unallocated funds, is that like our revenue? So like all the fees that we collect, is that what?
The fees that we collect would go into that, yes.
Okay. And plus any rollover from previous years, I assume,
Yeah,
too. Okay,
exactly.
good.
Any gifts or any revenue that comes in goes into the unallocated.
Perfect.
And then as we need it, for any of these vendors that we typically deal with, we just request that they
Excellent.
increase the amounts. And then that's available. And if we don't spend it all now, it just will
Rolls
carry
over.
over to next
Yep,
year.
Yep.
We don't lose the money.
No.
So that seemed to be the easiest way to handle it rather than to, I know it's not the usual thing where you, I mean, we're talking about, I mean, we have a garden year, which is not like your normal
Not a
fiscal year. And so it's easier, I think, if things can just move from one year to the next.
Yeah, it works.
And that seems that Barbara does an awful lot of work to help us out with this, I think, because, I don't know, there were times when she wasn't sure what was happening.
Right.
And so she really took it on herself to keep a very clear record of what was going on.
So you have like regular conversations with her? Or occasionally?
Whenever a bill comes in and she emails me, can you come down and sign so that we can get it paid?
Excellent.
So I just come down and I see her, and I'll come down and ask her to increase the Fleury account by $200. There's not a lot of formality to it. She has a form that she fills out, and we sign it, and it will go through, and it will appear as income for that account next month if it's done by then.
Okay. We'll move on to. Are you finished?
I'm done.
Okay. We'll move on to the outreach report. It'll be Margie. She's not here right now, but she did send a message to remind everybody that B1 and C12 are open and available with no waiting list. If you know anybody or have a way to put an ad, ask people who want to do it. It's not too late to start some winter stuff. It would take some real work to get it turned over in that time, especially if C12 is a weed farm, as Frank indicated. But still, if anybody wants it, no waiting list. And yeah, B1 is also still available, which is it's the one closest to the shed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one is pretty
Has a
flat.
few ears of corn on the cob growing in it,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
You can work around it.
Yeah. Oh,
It would
nice.
definitely need to be tilled if you wanted to put anything out there, or if you wanted to do it in
Yeah.
beds, that would be fine.
Yeah.
So that corn that's there is just random? Just-
You know, I'm trying to think of the name of a couple who have the plot next
The
door.
pollinator
No.
or
Next door to that B1.
Mhm.
And I happened to be there the day that they just got the lawnmower and just cut everything down that was there. I think because cleaned up and stuff not blowing into their
Right.
plot too.
And did they go around the corn?
Yeah, so I'm sort of wondering, they're growing corn too. Maybe it's theirs. I never really said, oh, is that corn yours too? But, you know, yeah. But it is funny to see the corn cobs.
We'll leave a note that whoever takes it, its legacy corn has to be left.
I like it.
Also, Margie has sent out an email right before the meeting. There's a new contact sheet that's available for gardeners to be able to communicate with other gardeners directly, if we choose to do so that we don't have to go through her as a middleman. If you have any questions for your neighbor or anything like that, you can just reference the contact sheet and send out an email. Internal outreach report, which would normally be my thing. Sent out the Facebook for this meeting. Sent out a throwback Thursday today with a picture of my then wife in our garden plot in 2010, which was,
Wow.
yeah, it was just completely, it had been tilled once by industrial and then nothing else. And it was really flat, and it's really fun to see the part going back to the swamp is not overgrown like it is now. Looked a lot different back then.
Wow. And that was only 12 years ago.
Yeah, we've definitely done some work on that. on the whole garden, all
So
of
you
it.
were there at the beginning?
Yep, yeah. Well, she was.
You-
I came in once it got to be too much for her. So I came in and started volunteering along with her.
Oh,
But yeah, anything else on Facebook? I will post an ad for the available plots. See if we can get anybody from the general Easthampton area interested. See if we can get some interest, maybe some outside interest going.
Yeah, it's not too late.
This
I
is the
think that-
priority for Easthampton residents.
I believe,
I
right?
think there might be some interest because I was the only one there one day when someone, excuse me, may I talk to you? And she's new to the area and she was interested and, you know, so I think there might be others like her.
I think we'll make sure that there's at the interest board, the info board, make sure that there's a contact email or something there so that people who
Yes.
are wandering by can, there's a point of contact. Make sure there is a point of contact for new plots at the garden. So that if anybody comes through, we can point them to the thing and say, write down that email and
Well, that's, yeah.
cool. All right, donation garden
That's me.
and donation report, I guess, would also, are you doing the,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
They're kind of intertwined. I was just saying we're doing well. The donation garden looks great. We had some good donations from various people who would put stuff in. The trouble most recently has been to get folks to come and help with the weeding and the watering. And so I have taken that on to myself, but I think, and I've tried to make it known to others who had previously stepped forward as volunteers that, yeah, please stop by. Things will grow, but you gotta water them and weed them, so you gotta do the work. And, you know, some people have shown some interest, but I'm at this point, I'm doing most of it myself, and I'm okay with that. I mean, next year we may want to rethink, rethink the whole donation thing. The other piece of donations is we kind of rely on folks to, if they have any extra produce that's coming in, say your peas are coming in right now, or your zucchini, and you have more than you can consume, it's totally wonderful and appropriate to donate them to the community center, which you do by putting in the blue cooler at the end of the shed on, I believe it's Tuesday night now by then.
Right.
And then Autumn, who's our new volunteer, Stephen used to do it, will take, on Wednesday morning, will come in and collect what's there and take it over to the community center, where she volunteers on Wednesday morning, so it works out perfectly for her. But I think that whole piece of encouraging gardeners to just share their abundance, if they have abundance. Last year we didn't have much abundance, so we weren't able to donate much, and that was okay. You know, people got to feed their families or whatever. But I think that's a key issue if we want to be. And Stephen would be big on this as well. If we really want to make an impression with the community center in terms of being able to help them, then people should feel free to. It doesn't have to be a lot. You know, if you got a little extra kale or a little extra this, just put it in the blue cooler, and it'll be well used. So I think that's it for now.
Okay. What is the plot number for the donation garden?
I don't know.
It's something 1.
It's got a sign, right? It should be an A.
Right. Sorry, it's A.
A something.
2, 3. It's either A3 or A4.
Yeah.
I'll double check it.
And we've currently got growing there green beans, tomatoes, the zucchini that came in. Friend David who donated the plants. Cucumbers. Plants are coming in. I put in some potatoes just for fun. We'll see if they come in. Some other squash and some kale.
Wonder if we could have a little donation garden sign there. Would that maybe
There is a
encourage?
sign there. There is a sign there.
Is a sign.
Yeah, it says donation garden.
It's pointing towards the road. So depending on which way you're coming into the garden, if you're walking down the center aisle, it's not only is it facing the other way, but it's also apart by 1 row. So you really have to be standing up by the hose in order to see it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know I've seen it, but I don't remember exactly which number it is.
Yeah. I mean, we can on a good year get a good amount of produce there to donate, but it's unpredictable, and so that's why we've always tried to reach out to the rest of the gardeners and say, hey,
Right.
share your abundance if you can. If you can, so no pressure there. But this year's like a good year, so we're hopeful. I mean, I already put 7 zucchini into the cooler this past.
We put in kale. We didn't have anything to put it in. We probably find something to tie it up with in the shed. There was
Sweet. That's fine.
Just throw it in.
Just put it in and it'll be taken care of. I would suggest people, and maybe we can communicate that again if we do an outreach. Think about putting it in on Tuesday evening. If you put it in during the day, the summer heat coming down, it may not fare well in there. So, just a thought. But that's probably it for now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Pollinator garden report?
That would be Karen, but she's not here.
Okay.
Do we know which spot that is? Is that across from the
Yeah, I think it's
donation garden?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Like
So it
C?
would- Yeah. Well, it's not C, but it would be A, whatever.
Okay.
And there's something in there. There's some stuff in there, but it doesn't look well tended. I just keep wondering if Karen's okay, because that was her plot. Was it C2 or something like
Right.
that?
That's not.
There's not much
No.
has happened there, and she was usually pretty
Yeah.
religious about getting her stuff in, so I just wonder if she's okay. That's kind of what I'm wondering. She was gonna do that in the pollinator.
I'll just put that in as
Yeah.
maybe source extra.
Somebody should check in with her. I mean, I don't know how we do that, or who should do that. Say how you're doing.
Does the pollinator garden, does that also fall into the boxes that are near the parking lot? Do you know?
The boxes.
There are raised beds that are directly in front of the parking lot.
No, that's different, I think.
Okay, those have fallen into disrepair.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
But we're down below. Let's see. Gardener feedback. Is there any feedback?
We're
General
still
feedback? I guess-
encouraging people to take those daisies, which come, a couple people have come and we've given them big clumps of them.
Nice.
But the problem is they're just, they really multiply very quickly. So
Now, where are the daisies that you're doing that?
they're in a corner of our garden, which would be, I always get it on this, I guess, is that C1?
C1?
We're right across from the compost pile.
C1. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
C1. And in the back corner, there are lots of daisies that have come up. As I said, we've given them to some people, but they just get to be too much. The trick is to take the daisies out without transplanting thistle that's growing in between. So that's been a little bit of a trick. Yeah, like Deb wanted some for her garden. She got some. Yep, they're there.
For gardener feedback, raised beds in the parking lot. We can start to ask about maybe what we need to do to repair those. Do we have a resident carpenter, or anybody who knows how to use a hammer?
I could probably help out with something there. It depends on what they would want.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of the wood looks warped, so we might need to source lumber in order to do a repair. But some of it might just be like tapping it back into place. I think we really just need to assess what needs to be done before we move forward with it. But yeah, it was not. I put some compost mulch into the beds for whatever is growing there. I assume it's natives and pollinator, so whatever, we'll encourage it. Didn't look like thistle, so we'll let it grow for a little bit longer. If anybody wants to volunteer, I'll put some outreach on that also. If anybody wants to volunteer for repair / plant maintenance. There's a drip irrigation system that's hooked up to that also. I don't know if it's still active or if it should be removed entirely. It may just be leaky at this point. There's a lot going on there. So I don't know who's in charge of it or who was historically in charge of it. But we'll just put that on the table, get people thinking about it. Any new business? I am going to put in the new business so it gets into the minutes that we're still looking for somebody to be the chair for next year because Stephen does not know if he's going to be able to continue doing it going forward. So if anybody wants to do it.
Is he going to do it next month, or is he going to fill out his term, should I say? Who knows?
He doesn't know. He doesn't know how he's going to do it.
You're doing a great job, so keep the ball rolling.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, he is definitely looking for a replacement for next year.
Right.
But he is unknown for the rest of this year if he's going to be able to do it. So we may have to take musical chairs to fill it out. But next year, still looking for somebody to just step up full time to take the position. And with that, we can adjourn. Anybody wants to
adjourn?
A motion to adjourn. Sorry, move to adjourn.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's it.
fast.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
7:49. We need to have an hour.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.